In this video, we are trying to answer the question, what is the best formation in FIFA? We are going to do it by conducting an experiment. The experiment entails over 7,000 data entries, over 50 hours of work, and over 1,000 simulated games in FIFA 23. If you search up on YouTube, best formation FIFA 23, you get a lot of results. There are a few problems with these, in my opinion. A, they are mostly about Ultimate Team. And B, more importantly, they are subjective, meaning they are someone's opinion and not a fact. I don't like that, and in this video, I'm gonna change it. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get this experiment on the way. The setup for this experiment is simple. I mean, maybe not simple, but let me explain. I have created 24 teams that are 100% identical, except for one thing, the formation. Meet our player. His name is Ronnie. And now, meet his clones. There are 456 of them in total. Simple, right? I created all these players by hand. Ronnie and all of his clones are right-footed, English, 5'9", 178 pounds, and 38 years old. They all have medium work rates, 4-star skills, and 5-star weak foot. They all have identical stats as well. Outfield players have 99 in every stat apart from goalkeeping stats, and goalkeepers have 99 in every goalkeeping stat, but not the other stats. Also, they are all CMs. This was done because you can't change players' defensive awareness on your own. It is determined by the position that you choose for them. And for CMs, it's 50, which is the most neutral. So in order to not favor offense or defense, we went with CM. Every team looks like this. 19 players, 17 outfield, 2 goalkeepers. Tactics-wise, everything is balanced. Defensive width and depth are 50. Offensive width is 50. 5 players in the box, 3 for corners and free kicks. Every role is the right back in the team. Or if it's 3 in the back, it's the right center back. That is what the game defaulted to. There are no player instructions. The 24 teams are then put into a tournament where they will play each other exactly once. There are actually 33 formations in FIFA 23, but for the sake of the experiment, some of them had to be cut. This is because maximum capacity for a league-style tournament is 24. The formations that are not in this experiment are here. I decided to exclude these because they are quite similar to another formation. For example, 4-3-3 flat and 4-3-3 holding. They look pretty much the same. I then took control of one of the teams and simulated the whole tournament. And then I did 47 more times, controlling every team twice during the experiment. I recorded all the stats into an Excel sheet, and this is what I found out. After 12 simulations, I decided to take a look. There was already major separation. If you look at the bottom of the table, from ranks 18 to 24, those teams are way behind already. If the game was perfectly balanced and every formation was truly equal, eventually every team should average a finish of 12.5. However, since we are only 12 simulations in, it is too early to make any conclusions, since it could be just a case of bad luck for those teams. If all the formations are equal, we would expect this gap to be smaller the next time we take a look. If it's not, we might be onto something. This is what it looks like after 24 simulations. As you can see, the gap is still there. This tells me that we are onto something, as these formations seem to be consistently finishing worse than others. After this check-in, I started to pay more attention to the bottom 8 to see which formations end up there. These are the teams that are using these formations. Surely enough, just like in the first 24 runs, for the next 12, these teams were consistently in the bottom 8. For the next 12 simulations, one of those teams finished 24th in the league 11 out of 12 times. They were really bad. After 36 simulations, the gap was still there, so at that point it was obvious to me that these formations were not as good as the others. But then I noticed something else. Take a look at the top of the table. There's one team there that has separated itself from the rest. In fact, if we look back, this team has slowly been inching away from the others. That formation is the 4-3-2-1. The team that plays with this formation in this experiment is Mansfield Town, so for the next 12 simulations, I was keeping a closer eye on how they were doing. The team did what it had been doing, being consistently good. It was top 6 8 out of the 12 times and fell out of the top 12 only once when it finished 22nd in simulation 47. To better visualize the difference in performance between the best formation and the worst, I made this graph. The blue line is 4-3-2-1 and the gray and gold lines are 3-5-2 and 4-3-3 false 9. There were only 3 instances in this whole experiment where those two formations performed better than the 4-3-2-1. Just 3. That really tells you something. And then finally, after hours and hours and hours of simulating and recording the stats, we have reached the end, and these are the results. As you can see, the trends we noticed early on continued all the way to the end. The best formation by a landslide is 4-3-2-1. Another one that also separated itself from the rest is 5-4-1 flat. These are the formations I would recommend using based on this experiment. On the other end of the spectrum, we have these 7 formations. I would not recommend using these. Let's also take a look at other stats. In terms of average points, this is expected to be very similar to the positions table, and it is. Not much difference there. Now, let's take a look at wins, draws, and losses. Again, pretty much what you would expect. One interesting observation is that 5-4-1 flat is almost last in draws table. I guess they're not drawing a lot, which makes sense because they're really good. Anyway, now let's take a look at the goals for, goals against, and goal difference tables. An interesting observation here would be that the 4 in the back formations seem to be a little bit better when it comes to not conceding goals. In the goal difference stat, the difference between first and last is 17 goals. That's a huge difference. As expected, the 7 formations that have been the worst throughout this experiment have fallen way behind the pack, as there's a 5 goal drop off from 17th to 18th. The 4-3-2-1 has separated itself from the second best formation by over 2.5 goals, and the 2 5 in the back formations at second and third are also way ahead of everybody else. Now that I knew what formations were better and which ones were worse, I wanted to know why. Why were they better or why were they worse? For that, let's go back to the positions table. What is the one thing that makes these formations perform differently? I started trying out stuff just to see if I can see a pattern. First, I tried attackers. This is what that table looks like. I defined the attackers as anyone higher up in the pitch than the CM. The darker the orange, more attacker the team has. Nothing here. Next, logically, I tried defenders. Again, same system, darker orange, more defenders, yada yada. Again, no pattern. Then I thought, maybe wing players are overpowered. Nope, not that. But then it hit me. I looked at this bottom 7 teams again and saw that a lot of those teams have CDMs. So I came up with this table. Orange means they have a CDM, white means they don't. Now I was getting somewhere. My next idea was to see if the number of CDMs has an effect. Nope, that led nowhere. Let's take it back. And then I saw it. The 3 formations that were separated from the pack had one thing in common. So my last table was, do they have CDMs and wingers? And bam, we arrived here. This was the common factor among the formations that were not doing well. Why is that the case? No idea. My best guess would be that it leaves too much space in the central midfield for the opposing team, so they control it and create more chances from there. And this is it. This is the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I hope it was at least helpful to some of you. If you did enjoy it, feel free to like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments what I should test next. Goodbye.